We're going to put the. All right. We want to welcome all of you this evening to the Keach Punching University Zoom. And my name is Dany Martin. I'll be hosting this evening. We've got a great guest and a good friend of ours that's online with us here tonight. So I encourage you to pay close attention. If you want to take some notes, feel free to do that as well. Dr. Michael Ewald. Dr. Ewald has enjoyed living in the Dayton, Ohio area most of his life. I know he's an Ohio State fan because from me being down in South Louisiana, in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area, we have a little team down here called LSU. And on a few occasions, we've been able to I guess you would say, harass each other about playing, but it's all good. A little bit about Dr. Ewald. He completed a 4-year electrical apprenticeship out of high school, and he did his undergraduate work at Sinclair Community College and then at Wright State University. But in 1989, Dr. Ewald graduated from Palmer College of Chiropractic with a doctorate in chiropractic. He practiced in the Dayton, Ohio area for almost 30 years. And during this time, he's worked with a number of professional sports teams, professional baseball, professional hockey, professional soccer, to name a few. And one thing about Dr. Ewald that I've always enjoyed, he's a great speaker, and he's had the pleasure of lecturing and speaking throughout Ohio, and really, for that matter, throughout North America. He loves to talk about the relationship between nutrition and disease, and that's what he spoke about most of these times that he's traveled and spoke in these different areas. And he's very passionate about helping people get healthier. Now, most of you may know that I am with the Juice Plus Company. I'm in my 34th year, and we are going to talk a little bit about the Juice Plus Company and our products tonight as well. Dr. Ewald and his wife, Karen, she has a nursing background. They were introduced to Juice Plus, a Juice Plus company, in the fall of 1997. So we're going back a few years, guys. And they are what we call in our business presidential marketing directors, which is just our top position in the company worldwide. So it's a pretty big honor. They're inaugural members of our prestigious 100 Club. For those of you who know what that is, again, it's just the top level in our company. But here's something that's real important. In 2019, they were awarded and received the Juice Plus Founders Award. Now, this is the highest award that our company gives out worldwide in 28 countries around the world, and they received that in 2019. So what can I say? They have been recognized and are very successful, and have been an integral part of the Juice Plus Company for many, many years now. They have 3 children who have given them 5 grandchildren. And I'm going to let Dr. Ewald talk a little bit more about that shortly, but we want to welcome Dr. Michael Ewald to a Keep Punching Zoom here tonight. Dr. Ewald, thanks for joining us and taking time out.
Well, thank you, Dany, and Carrie as well. I know you've been doing this for a lot of years, and so appreciate all that you guys do. And I count both of you men as a couple of mentors in life for sure.
Well, we appreciate those kind words. We're just excited about having you on. I'm going to do a little interview with you here tonight, and hopefully you don't get too many curveballs from me, but I just got some questions that I kind of put together. I would like for you to tell us a little bit more about your background, if you would, maybe in addition to what I've already shared with the folks off of the bio that I have for you here.
Well, that was a great introduction. And, we traveled around. Actually, before the age of 12 years young, I lived in 10 different homes. I was born in Oregon, Salem, Oregon, and went south to California and a lot of places in between. And then at the age of 12, we were actually living outside of New York City. And my father, first symptom of a health issue was a sudden heart attack that took his life at 46 years young. So that's actually how we ended up back in Dayton, Ohio. That's where mom and dad were from. And I do I thoroughly have enjoyed being a chiropractor. That's probably been the greatest profession that I could have ever gotten into. And we can talk a little bit more about that. But you touched on the fact that I went through a 4-year electrical apprenticeship, and I got hurt playing football in high school, American football, and injured my neck. And I know you can relate to this, Dany, but I actually had a compression fracture in my neck. And long story short, I ended up in a chiropractor's office and really made a huge difference. And I knew then and there that that's what I wanted to do with my life. And we didn't have any money. I don't know how mom raised 6 kids. One of my sisters, Debbie, was a special needs sister, a lot of challenges there. But that's the reason why you had mentioned the electrical apprenticeship, and something I'm actually very proud of, just as I am as my doctorate in chiropractic, because that 4-year training really taught me a lot of life lessons, and I think really laid down my work ethic and how to deal with people. So I'm really grateful for that stint in my life as well. Kind of a blue collar beginning for sure. And the grandpa thing, that's I've had a lot of different titles, but that by far is the best title that I could ever ask for. I think I'm a lot better papa than I was a father, for sure. A lot more patient.
Well, you've had a little more training too, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think you may have answered this question, but undoubtedly getting that 4 years in electrical, it wasn't one of these things where you always all your life wanted to be in the healthcare arena or whatever. So was it really that injury and seeing a chiropractor? Is that kind of what prompted you to go into the healthcare field many years ago? I mean, you could have just gone and said, well, this was nice and they helped me out. But I guess I'm asking is, what prompted you to take a turn and go that direction?
Definitely that injury for sure. And then losing dad young, and his dad, actually, I never met him. He was in his early 50s when he died of heart disease. So that always, intrigued me. And my sister, Debbie, who I touched on, she was pretty much full-time care. And I really think, just being around her and being a big part of helping take care of her really gave me a desire and I think a little more compassion and empathy for people. So really being around her, I really think gave me that desire to be in the healing or the helping fields. But it was definitely that football injury. I was just, we had gone kind of through the medical mill, and I'm thankful for medical doctors, but it was very frustrating. And coming into that chiropractic office, it was something that I had never experienced before. My mom, she did it reluctantly. The girl that I was dating in high school, her uncle was actually a chiropractor, and that's how that kind of came to be. But it was really that experience that propelled me to pursue the healthcare field.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned that you and Karen were introduced to Juice Plus, our company, in '97. So I'm guessing that's about 26 years ago, if my math is right. We do math different down here in Louisiana, maybe than Ohio. But 26 years ago, how did that come about? Like how did y'all hear about Juice Plus, or was it the product of Juice Plus that someone was trying to introduce you to, or the business part of it, or like where did that all start?
Sure. And, it really, Karen, and I learned a lot in school. One thing I do appreciate about chiropractic is you actually do get a lot of training in nutrition and whole food, and you do get a pretty good background. I knew a lot about how to live, but I really wasn't, living the life back then. But Karen, when I met her, 40 years, October 1st, we've been together, but she was into whole food nutrition. She was a vegan, and I'm like, whatever you're doing, I'm gonna do what she's doing, because I want to be with this girl. So it was really Karen that set me on the path of healthier eating, and she even got us into juicing. We had kids right away. We had 3 kids, boom, 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 and of course, kids just love juicing and greens and that kind of stuff. And I'm being sarcastic, obviously, but we actually did that for about 6-7 years. And in that period, the wife of another chiropractor I was actually practicing with at the time, she actually introduced us to Juice Plus, and it was the product for sure. And and actually the person that introduced her was a guy named Guy DeBeau, who I know you're very familiar with, and he had called me up, and we were talking, and I said, I love your product, makes total sense to me, but I don't want anything to do with your stupid business. And that's where I was at the time, and we had kind of gotten burnt in chiropractic college with what I thought this was. And anyhow, we added the Juice Plus to our diet, and I can't tell you we had any, miraculous changes. We were already eating very well. But what was profound to me was our oldest son at the time, Carl, he was having a little bit of acne. He was starting to go through that change. He was 12 or 13 years young, and we were eating well. I thought we were doing all the right stuff, but this acne just progressively was getting worse. But after about a month and a half of eating Juice Plus, his face cleared up. And of course, I would never say that Juice Plus cures acne or anything. Juice Plus cures nothing. Your body's the cure. But it had to be the Juice Plus. That was the only thing that we had done differently. So it was really his experience that caused us to check out the company more seriously. And we went to Guy actually invited us to a conference, which to say that changed our life would be a huge understatement. That invitation really changed the direction of our life. But we agreed to go to San Diego in March of 1999. And that's why I learned more about the product and the research at that time. I really didn't know that they had research, which even today, most products out there don't have any research. But now Juice Plus has got 48 different studies that back it up. And that's what really gave me the confidence and the credibility to share it in the office. But definitely the product is what caught my attention initially. And
yeah, awesome. I I like the part that, you met Karen, was just, you're willing to drink juice just to date her, right?
Yeah, and she's still, she has walked the talk all of these years. I've fallen off the wagon. I'm not perfect, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit later, but she has always been an inspiration for me, and anything that I've been successful in is because of Karen Ewald, for sure.
Yeah. Well, she's a special lady. I know that we really think a lot of both of you guys. So I was going to ask, maybe how did you, but maybe let me broaden this a little bit and ask, for that matter, how would you say healthcare professionals would share Juice Plus with other people? And why do you feel it has the credibility for a healthcare professional to do that? I mean, obviously, you must have done that for you guys to have gotten involved in the business side of Juice Plus and have built the type of business that you had. So for you, maybe how did you go about doing it? Or for any healthcare professional for that matter, how would you recommend that they would go about doing that and not worry about what people would think because of a credibility factor with that?
Sure. And, healthcare professionals, they get bombarded probably every day, every week for sure, with the greatest, the latest, greatest thing out there. And that was my situation. And when Juice Plus came along, it was simple. We're not talking dozens or hundreds of different products. If you look over Dany's right shoulder, you can see the what we call the Juice Plus essentials: the fruit, the vegetable, the berry, and then the omega blend. And actually, when I started, we only had a fruit and vegetable blend. But those 4 blends really is what we're talking about, and it's simple. And you would think, being in the healthcare arena, that health professionals, doctors, PTs, chiropractors, whatever you want to talk about, you would think that they would be in the business of healthcare, and they are, but in many ways they're not. They really not. A lot of chiropractors, they're focused on adjusting your spines. Medical doctors maybe they're recommending a lot of medicines, but really when it comes down to it, what ails most of us is a poor diet and lifestyle. And if we can correct or clean up our diet and lifestyle, not be perfect, but if we can address some of those issues in our life, that's really what's going to turn this healthcare crisis around. So you would think that most health professionals are talking to their patients about diet and lifestyle, nutrition. But the reality is, and I would throw that back on all of you. I don't know if your doctor or whomever you're seeing is actually addressing some of these lifestyle and dietary issues. But what I've seen is our healthcare system really doesn't. So, I love talking to health professionals about Juice Plus. It's simple. We're not talking about a lot of stuff, and it's intuitive. Most moms and grandmas were telling their kids and grandkids long, before anybody else that they need to eat more fruits and vegetables. The reality is most of us, for whatever reason, we don't, or we can't, and it's just a simple addition to any practice. And, I love the fact that you don't have to inventory any product in your office. I love that you're not getting paid, for I don't get paid for signing up people. It's just like anything else that you might share in your office, be it medicine or maybe a cervical pillow if you're a chiropractor, or supplements, whatever. You do make a little bit of money on Juice Plus, but it's such a simple but yet powerful thing to offer to your patients. And my opinion, I think, every health professional in the world should be recommending Juice Plus or something like Juice Plus. It's just so necessary. And again, you look at what's happening in our world today, just getting through COVID, and the statistics are pathetic. We continue to get sicker as a nation. We're living less. We're not living longer. We're living less. And again, it's not a lack of drugs or visits to your chiropractor or massage therapist. It's really that diet and lifestyle. So I think anybody and everybody should be sharing Juice Plus. And I will say that it's not health professionals. It's actually moms on a mission or young women on a mission that are driving, this amazing thing. But I just think it's such a perfect fit for any health professionals. It's intuitive, it just fits very easy. And again, you don't have to inventory any product. And I've never pushed it on anyone. I recommend things to my patients. I tell them what I think they need, and then it's up to them. I throw it back in their court. It's up to them to make that decision for sure. And yes, grandma's on a mission as well. I'm sorry, I saw that come up there for sure. The bottom line is it's really women on mission, not that we guys, and we've got 3 successful guys here as well as some others listening in, but the women, you guys, I think, are more relational. You make most of the healthcare decisions for your families and sometimes for your friends. So it's just a perfect fit for anybody and everybody. But the women got it going for sure. They are the driving force.
And I mentioned the word credibility, and I asked you this. I know that our products carry an NSF certification, and you mentioned the research. Do you feel like those are 2 really big factors as far as the credibility of Juice Plus?
Oh, absolutely. And the research really is what sets us apart. You're starting to see some copycats out there on TV, and that's great. We've been a standalone product now for 30 years. This is actually our 30th year anniversary that Juice Plus has been out there making a difference in people's lives. But the research, and some people struggle with the fact that, Juice Plus, they pay for a lot of their research. Well, the fact is if, drug companies, or in this case, a nutrition company, if they didn't invest in the research, it just would not get done. The real key is once that money's turned over to a university or a world famous research institution like MD Anderson or Yale University, Tokyo Women's College, their hands are tied. And what they've seen with the research is they've done this around the world with different cultures, consuming different diets with different lifestyle habits, but yet they're still seeing the same positive results, like decreased blood flow and improved skin health, oral health, improved pregnancy outcomes, stronger immune systems. Who doesn't want a stronger immune system with what we've been through here the last 2, 3, 4 years? And but it's the research that really is profound. The MD Anderson study that showed that cancer survivors had some positive benefits from Juice Plus. There's a study down in Florida, a children's hospital called New Moors, where actually these young boys between the age of 12 and 14, I believe it was, they actually had improved insulin resistance. They even lost a little bit of belly fat eating Juice Plus. But that's a hot button with me, Danny. I could talk about the research all night, but that's really is what sets us apart. That's what gives us the confidence and the credibility. And of course, the NSF certification is huge. It's kosher certified, dairy free. It's vegan. It's the highest quality produce that you can consume. And we actually got to go to some of the farms this past spring up in the Chicago area. And I was blown away by the quality of the produce, from the soil to the seed, throughout the process, all the way to when it gets into your mouth. So this is the highest grade, highest quality produce that you can be putting in your mouth for sure.
Yeah, I was the same way. Debbie and I were fortunate enough to be invited on that trip. And man, when somebody just even asks a question about quality or anything, I just think back to visiting and looking at the farms and the processing and the pulverization and the drying and all that goes into that. And it's got, guys, it's just you can't believe the quality control involved at every step of that along the way. And then, as you said, you mentioned, we do have to provide money for some of these research projects to make a placebo pill and that type of thing. And one thing that we've always said, for those of you maybe new listening in, is you can pay for the research, but you can't pay for the results, because someone like MD Anderson's going to say, well, the study came out really bad, but we really like those Juice Plus people. They're nice people, so we're going to lie about this. Doesn't happen that way, guys. 48 different healthcare universities, hospitals, medical centers around the world have peer reviewed and published this information. So it's quite credible. As the word that we started out talking about. Now, I know,
Danny, and I'm sorry for interrupting, but well over $20 million they've invested in research. What companies do that? I don't know of any. And again, folks, this is a food product. It carries a food label. It's not a vitamin pill. But I just don't know any other companies out there that have made the commitment and the investment in research and actually validating what they can say about Juice Plus. It really is amazing. So if you're not familiar with the research, check it out. It's the real deal.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I can tell you there's two reasons most companies won't. And the first reason is they don't want to spend the money. And the second reason, they probably don't want to see the results. Yeah. It's probably that simple. And I'm just being nice here. Okay. Now, I know, Dr. Ewald, you retired from chiropractic, your chiropractic practice. When did that happen, and kind of what was the motivating factor behind that?
Well, I had shared earlier that I didn't want anything to do with this stupid business. And Gita Bo and I still laugh about this, but I've gone from not wanting anything to do with this stupid little business to where this has become my life's passion, because I've just seen so many positive changes, by adding fruit and veggie capsules into people's bodies. But actually about 16, 17 years ago, I noticed that our Juice Plus, and this is not some get rich quick thing, but I will tell you, this is a very legitimate, very ethical, very fair business model that backs up Juice Plus, the company. And, we've shared consistently. And again, my full-time focus has always been my practice for most of those years, but sharing consistently, working with my wife, it's been amazing how this thing has grown. And we started to notice that our income increased to the point where my Juice Plus income surpassed my chiropractic income. And we had a great practice. I had two other doctors working for me, and we were very blessed in that field, and loved every minute of it. Got to work with the sports teams, do a lot of great things. But I will tell you that I didn't have a life. I was a hostage to my practice. I was a hostage to the insurance companies. And even though I loved it, there were many days I didn't really like what I was doing, just because of the demands. And again, I didn't really get to see my family a whole lot in those formative years. So more information than you may want, but but it was really the freedom and the flexibility that I saw that really caused me to actually, we sold this, what I call my large stressful practice. We had about 13,000 patient files that went with the practice, and basically I went down to 3 days a week and tried to work with the people that bought the practice. That didn't work out after about 6 months. So I separated from that and went and bought an old house and basically practiced another 10 years because I didn't want to give it up at that time. But again, it was on my terms. I worked 3 days a week, and I was the chiropractor, the receptionist, the janitor. I did it all. And then about 7, 8 years ago now, I actually transitioned full time into this Juice Plus mission. And one of the things that I did, Dany, as a part of a gift to myself, was I always wanted to do something big, athletic wise. And that year that I got out of chiropractic, I actually rode my bicycle from Dayton, Ohio. I went to the East Coast through West Virginia and Virginia, and then I rode all the way down Highway 1, all the way south of Cape Canaveral, about 1,522 miles actually. But that really was because of Juice Plus. I can honestly say that Juice Plus is significantly, helped maintain and improve my health over all those years. It was a real gift. And like I said, because of that, I'm a lot better papa than I am a dad. I'm a cool grandpa.
Yeah. Well, I remember the bike ride. I remember following you on that journey along the way. And
that was fun.
All I can say is it was quite inspiring to see you do that. But you had a big following in doing that. It was a heck of an accomplishment along the way. Now, talking about accomplishments, I think anytime in business, probably building your chiropractic business or building your Juice Plus business or whatever it is, we always have challenges along the way, whether they be professionally or personally or whatever. If you've had any of those, I'm assuming you may have had some setbacks or some challenges along the way. Would you share maybe what those were or how maybe you worked through some of those things?
Sure. Probably the biggest challenge well, looking at the time here, I think I'll focus on this is a year and a half ago, it's easy for me to travel the country. And actually in the intro, I've actually been in not all 50 states, but every state except Ohio and Alaska, as far as sharing Juice Plus and traveling. But, traveling around the country, up into Canada, it's easy to tell people what to do and, give them advice. And I've always thought of myself as being very healthy, but about a year and a half ago, biggest challenge was, make it real quick here, is started having some health issues, started losing a lot of weight. And one thing led to another, and went into the hospital, and they removed my appendix. And then the anesthesia from that procedure caused some AFib in my heart. And it just kind of spiraled down, and very frustrating. I felt like a hypocrite. And I share this with folks because, we're not about being perfect. Nobody in our community is perfect. Well, maybe Mickey Daigle and Dany Martin, right? But it's not about being perfect. But it really threw me for a loop, and I was in a funk for a good 6 months. I really felt like I was letting people down, but I started getting back to the basics, and I was able to gain back the weight that I lost, and not quite 100% where I want to be. I'm back to cycling and doing real well. But that challenge, I think, really it was great. It caused me to be more empathetic and more understanding of where people are at. But just know, folks, life is a journey, and the goal really is to live long and die short. We're all going to get sick. We're all going to die of something. But what I do know is when you're eating Juice Plus, we haven't even talked about our wonderful tower gardens, but when you're getting more fruits and veggies in your diet, you are setting yourself up for success long term. And so I'm glad that I had that bump in the road, that challenge. I think it's made me a better person, and I'm still hoping to live a long life and die short. That's my goal.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, and I'm sure everyone listening in does too, because as you said, we're not perfect, we're not indispensable. And when I asked that question, I wasn't real sure how you were going to answer it. I know that you've been through some challenges here over the last 18 months or so, but I really appreciate you sharing that, along the way. And I guess in closing, we're gonna wrap this up here. But anything about Juice Plus, the company, the products, the business, or anything? Is any advice or tips that you'd like to leave us with? With those that are listening in to this Zoom this evening.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that has stuck in my head. A good guy, a good friend named Dany Martin. He came to Ohio. I don't know if you remember this, but you came to Ohio many, many years ago. It's something that you said that has always stuck with me, and I share it all the time. Actually, a couple things is one thing Carrie said, if you plug into the system, you could be a dynasty. That's always stuck with me. But what you said, Dany, is you always say, no excuses, only priorities. And that is so true. And I don't know where you're all at tonight with this Juice Plus stuff, or, maybe you've been taking Juice Plus and maybe thinking about jumping into our mission, but, worse than being afraid to do something is living with the regret of never stepping out and pursuing your dreams. And, you don't want to have any regrets, and no excuses, only priorities. And we're living in a very sick world. People need what we have, both health wise and financially wise. And we're not talking a bunch of money. What is it? A whopping $52, $52.50. And actually it's cheaper right now. You can, they got some good things going to where you can really jump into this mission cheap and really make a huge difference right away. There's some big money right up front right now. And it's not about the money. Hear my heart about that, but it is about the money. I'm not going to kid you. People are hurting. This economy is tough, and people are looking for ways to diversify. And, unless you're a person of faith, I think that's important. Next to that, helping people get healthy and helping people with their finances, there's no better mission to be on in life. And that's what we're doing. We're making a huge difference in people's lives for sure. So really appreciate this opportunity to share, brother.
Well, we thank you, Dr. Ewald, for taking time out this evening and sharing with us. This is really inspirational, I know, to me and probably to many others as well. And we appreciate you just being open and honest and real about your journey. It's been quite a success and quite a journey, and we thank you for that and appreciate your friendship. So with that, guys, we're going to stop the recording here. And